It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it's not the Hake, it's the Hake report, okay? It's the Hake report. We'll get to it. We got a lot of stuff going on, okay? It's Friday the 13th. Jason! I disavow those movies, but shout out. Was it a Christian movie? It's 2025 AD, okay? It's 2025. We don't do horror movies, unchristian horror movies, okay? But shout out to the people who are watching. I'm going to have Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation with me. And so okay, I'm just, pardon me while I fumble around a bit. I have this Hake Report logo here, and I'm gonna get, here, let me just go ahead and do that. Gonna get going here. Chrishaun is not gonna be in the studio, okay? So he's not gonna be right there. I'm just fixing it. Don't worry, I can fix it myself, Nick. Don't help me. Although I might. Here. Boom. No. Remote. Yeah. See? Hey. There he is. And I have to unmute him still. So that would be... Where's my bass guitar? Is it unmuted already? No. Hold on. That one. Yeah. Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. And since I have Crishaun the Don of... And by the way, that's not my surfing picture. And that's not even my cousin. It's not even the Beach Boys. I wish they all could be California girls. I disavow everything that Chrishaun says and everything that Hake says. And we don't represent Bond or JLP or the network or anything. We're just talking and trying to be responsible most we can, and trying to keep the callers on a loose leash, but sometimes a tighter leash if we need to tight rein them in. But nothing the callers say, nothing even the host says is meant to represent Bond or JLP or the network or even Hake himself. So don't come for me. Oh, wow. Whoa, green screen effect. How did that happen? But I didn't tell it to do a green screen. Is that because of key 3? What if I did key... Is that because of key 3? It's a key? This has never happened before. I feel like I've worn green before. It looks cool. I'm tripping out. Trip out, dude.
Far out.
Anyway, I mean... Whatever.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, you're see-through.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't see you on my screen. I have to go to this. To the actual,
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Well, we might be able to, whatever. Yeah, so, oh. Fix it for a second. No, it didn't fix it. Hake is a goat. Is Hake even real? See, you can't hold Hake responsible. Hake is not even real. There is no
apparition.
There is no Hake. At least not James Anton Hake. I have Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. You're hearing his voice, I do believe, right? And so Chrishaun is going to be talking about. We're going to be talking with, and we'll take your calls if you'd like to call in. Hopefully, long as those things work. It'll be about. Tell them what we're open to talking about. Can America be a Christian country? The LA riots. Authoritarian for a time? Can we have Trump be a dictator for a time? Is that smart? And perhaps even the Ashley Babbitt conversation. Hopefully that doesn't derail us forever. But that's what Chrishaun's going to talk about. Tell him how to find you, Crishaun the Don, while I get myself set up here.
You could follow me on X at Crishaun the Don. You can also follow my show on Rumble. That's Rumble at the Misfit Nation. I'm moving my show over to Rumble. I think our last show is going to be tonight on YouTube. So our last YouTube show ever. So you could find that on the Misfit Nation podcast on YouTube
Nice.
if you want to join us. We'll go out with a bang. Maybe we'll try to get banned.
No,
fully.
don't try to get banned. Do not. Well, do what you want, of course, but for the sake of all your associations, although you and I don't represent each other, we represent ourselves. YouTube is not that smart. They try to guilty by association you, and I don't want to get banned on YouTube. So, if you
Oh, I
please-
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So that way I can still come back to
yeah,
your show.
stay YouTube friendly as long as you're on YouTube. If you
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. I don't want to get yeah, where
Well,
you can't even associate with me anymore.
right.
How bad would that be?
Yeah, we got to be clever. We got to play the game like Trump played the game, and he's playing the game.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Thanks for getting me back on track, Hake. You're right.
Yeah, right on, man. Thank you for being willing to get back on track. We have callers who are filling up the lines, everybody. I want to make sure that I'm going on these other platforms. So, pardon me one moment here, I guess, because I'm live on, I like to be live on as many platforms as possible. And I love being on YouTube because YouTube has the snake pit, and I love the snake pit. So shout out to the snake pit. It's basically going to become like the boomers, you know? YouTube is going to become kind of like Facebook, because I'm live on Facebook, but nobody watches. Nobody's on Facebook. Yeah, I know, Jules. My shirt is bleeding through the green screen or something. What if I turn that off? That doesn't do anything.
It's your are you wearing a green shirt?
I am.
Or-
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe just change your chroma key color to blue.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
Oh no, but you have a
Oh,
green
and then I
screen
have a
behind
blue.
you, right?
Yeah. No, I don't actually. You can see this thing is not. This is not washed out. But I have a blue state. I have a blue California state on my shirt. Interestingly
yeah.
enough, and so that's going to turn see-through, which is not as bad as the green. I don't know. I kind of like it. Well,
It probably won't be as bad once you remove the background.
will I ever remove the background though? Here, let me see.
No. When the little graphic that's playing.
Right. If I did,
Or just pause it right on the sand.
what if I did?
One
What is
solid
it?
color.
Wirecast? No. It's where'd my? Oh, this. If I did that, then I'll be back to normal.
Sort of. Yeah.
And I go like, whatever. It's doesn't matter. I'm not that concerned about it because the audio is what's important. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not too distracting.
it's distracting for the chat, but whatever.
It'll be an audio episode. Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's the AJ. It's Friday, so it's the AJ Gallardo original theme song. So let's just get right on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys! I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report, written Christmas Eve 2017. Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how y'all doing? I am fine. Oh, you figured it out? Nice. Right on. American Anchor Baby figured it out. Watch, I'm not disappeared anymore. He can
See that
toggle it.
you give a Mexican 30 seconds of downtime and he can do anything.
Yeah, that's right. Or Cuban, commie, Colombian drug lord.
Oh, he's
whatever
not.
he
He's
is.
not Mexican. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought.
Well,
Anchor
that's
Baby.
what. Yeah, they're all Mexican.
In my book, yeah. What's the difference?
Okay, so nice, sweet.
You people used to be conquistadors.
That's right, they did.
What happened?
I thought I heard. Boom, no. Boom, boom. No. Yes. Sweet. Okay, it's cool. Anyway, shout out to Nick, the American Anchor Baby, and yeah, I have a shirt on that's messing everything up. No, I'm fine. I think because all I have to do now is this. If I want to swap, and that should work. Thanks for joining, Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation, man. Let's talk. By the way, it's Crishaun the Don on X and the Misfit Nation on X as well. Rumble.com/user the Misfit Nation. MisfitNation.podbean.com.
Yes, thank you.
And on YouTube, for the time being, it'll be a kind of a dormant channel, I suppose. The Misfit Nation podcast.
Well,
Right
we
on.
are planning on doing like recorded stuff.
Right on.
And using that as like sort of a little
upload like
promotional
clips
thing.
and then promo. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That way we can at least control what's going out on the airwaves of YouTube.
Yeah, because you have crazy callers like I have, who we disavow.
I'll be honest, your callers are a little crazier. I mean, I get some crossover from your show.
That's
though,
right.
So, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. So, can America be a Christian country? Chrishaun.
Well,
Were we?
I think yes. And I think we still are. However, the question comes down to sort of the philosophical thing of like Christianity, and I think it comes down to the whole free will thing.
Yeah.
It's more of like, can we have a Christian country without free will? You know what I mean? Because I think the country that we have now is basically that. It's like we have a country that we do have, like, at least we did have some kind of level of free will. It's just that leaves it open for people to choose evil over God. You know what I mean? So
that's what you mean by
free
free will, like freedom of religion, basically.
Yeah,
freedom
freedom
to
of
be
whatever.
Freedom to be a Christian or not, or to call Christianity something that it's not. Freedom to be evil. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Free will?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have a choice to be good, and if we don't choose that, we're inevitably choosing evil. So, that's really the question, because a lot of Christians, I don't think, understand that's gonna always be part of a Christian country. We can't have, like, based on our religion, people have to choose it. We can't force people to be Christians. You know what I mean? So the other
we wouldn't
question
want to. I mean, yeah, you literally can't actually. Yeah, it's true.
Well, you can't force somebody to believe something.
That's true.
You can force them to say they do.
Or you can brainwash them. That's what the liberals are doing, and actually that's what everybody's doing.
Well, to bring it into religion, that's what the Muslims are doing. That's why they're growing so fast. You know what I mean? That's why they've always grown so fast. The other question, I think, is, can we have free will without chaos?
Free will without chaos?
Yeah. Like, can we have that as a choice? Like, hey, you can decide what you want to do without there being a sect of people that are going to choose to be anarchists or, murderers even. They're going to choose to steal. They're going to choose. They're not going to. It's almost like that's the reason why Christianity, it built such a strong nation, is because the moral fabric of it
It reigned in the chaos, aka evil.
Yes. So even people like we see the result of it now, where we have American atheists who claim that they get their morality just from them being. You know what I mean? They don't get their morality from like divine command, God or whatever. It's like they're just like, oh well, I intrinsically get my morality,
Yeah.
and that doesn't it doesn't make sense because that's like inevitably like Christian morality took us out of barbarism. We were choosing barbarism before that, you know?
I mean, we were raised in you talking about being barbarians? We were raised pagan, right? I think, or they were.
Who?
We white barbarians who overthrew Rome and became and we were barbarians. You're talking about barbarianism, right? Being barbarian,
No, I'm just
barbarism.
yeah, I guess so. I don't know if that's the root word of it.
Okay.
I assume it is.
Yeah, we were immoral pagans, or pagans anyway, and a mess.
Well, that's do you think we can have can we have free will without chaos? Do you think that's a possibility?
Free will is a tricky word, but in the sense that you allow people to be whatever they're going to be, and God definitely allows people people to be whatever they're going to be, and so God is real, and the chaos on earth is here to be seen, and so yeah, of course, I think that means that a bunch of evil and chaos is allowed in disorder.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I answered
I
your
don't know if it's
question directly.
allowed. Yeah, I don't know if the word would be allowed, but it's
Yeah,
more
it's
like
chaos is here,
it's
and people think
plausible
they have
for it
free
to
will.
happen.
People think they're free. That's true. People think they're free to sin or whatever. They think that it is, and now we have worse and worse mess. The more people have been pushing freedom in the last 100 years, the freedom or rights, if you will, self-determination of these women to vote, and freedom from all this, freedom of this, freedom of that, for the past 100 or so years, maybe even more than that, 150 years, this freedom not to be slaves, the freedom of the slaves. It seems like, I don't know what it was like before that, back then, actually, I wasn't around, but the more chaos has ensued. Chaos of the so-called Civil War, chaos of abortion, chaos of voting in progressive people into office with these women voting, chaos of the so-called civil rights mess. So, yeah, the more people have been thinking that they wanting their free will in America, the more crazy it's gotten. But you're saying that that's kind of a good thing?
I'm not necessarily saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying it's part of the process.
Yeah.
Like in order to bring people to Christianity, they have to come to it themselves.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing, because all the things that you just basically listed off, I think the problem with that, and it kind of goes to my next point, is in order for us to have a Christian nation, and this is what's going on in America, and the problem with us kind of losing or getting away from God as a nation, is we have to fix the church before we can make this country a Christian country. And what I mean by that is, like, Christianity in terms of the church is losing its like fundamentals. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is, like, if I went into, pick a random church, and I go in and I say, hey, listen, I don't think women should be pastors, and I don't think we should promote homosexuality.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think the reaction would be in most of those churches? Maybe most is a bad word, but in a good amount of churches, at least, do you think I'd get a good reaction or a bad reaction? What's the odds?
It would be, oh, you need to leave.
You need to leave.
I wish I had that clip for you. That's what it would be.
Yeah. I have that on my
you
soundboard.
would not have the free will to go in and express yourself in that church.
This is the worst part. It's not even expressing myself. It's expressing
The truth.
Christianity.
Yeah, the plain truth.
It's yeah. So I can't openly preach Christianity in a Christian church these days.
That's true.
So that's where I think Christians these days are kind of like putting the cart before the horse. It's like you're not actually doing what Jesus told us to do, which I talk all the time. Judge yourself, judge your brothers, and then judge the world. You're going right to judge the world.
That's true. Indeed. What a mess. I've noticed that in myself. I've noticed that in other people. You noticed that in me?
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite, and the world notices it in the so-called Christians who are standing for those things about women leading and all that stuff. Those Christians are judgmental and angry and on their high horse, not they're standing in judgment, thinking that they're standing for God, but it's an imitation. It's a false imitation of what God's about. Yeah, they're citing the right values, but they're prideful in their spirit.
They're actually idolizing their identity over their God.
Yeah.
So it's like, because if you really got to the heart of the matter with like a woman pastor and you made that argument and she got triggered by it, her whole thing would be based in anger.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what women can't do. And it's like, I'm not telling you anything. Your problem is with God. It's not with me.
Yeah.
I'm just a messenger here.
Nice.
So that's how I deal with it. It's like, you got to look inside yourself. Like, you're mad at God and you're mad at Christianity and you want to change it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make you a Christian.
I've heard it said, and it's crossed my mind sometimes that, we've had these unchristian influences on America that have been very permissive of pornography, and abortion, and all these evil things. But that's what the people want now, what the people think that they want, and so they're demanding all these things and want their freedom to do all that mess, and so banning it or whatever, or asserting that marriage is between a man and a woman. We've already lost the culture, if you will, because that's what the people have been brainwashed into thinking that they want. You can do a certain amount of unbrainwashing by enforcing the law and stuff, because the law does change people's minds a little bit. But that's like a weak mind. It's a weak-minded change. It's not a change of the heart.
Well, if you took like abortion, for example, first off, I think I don't know if it's most women or whatever the percentage is, but a lot of women are pro-life. You know what I mean? Like the thought that most women are in favor of abortion, that's not even true to begin with.
You might be right. I'm not sure what the numbers are.
It's at least 50-50.
Okay.
At least.
And then the men are more pro-life than the women, I'm pretty sure.
I would assume. Yeah. I would assume. Now, if you look at like certain things, like they have these programs, I think it's like a right-wing organization, conservative organization, that does a thing where they show women who are pregnant, they show them a picture of their sonogram.
Yeah.
And once they see that, they like a huge percentage of them actually change their mind about having an abortion.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
that's why they try to stop that law, because there's these laws that say, oh, you have to see your whatever that thing is, ultrasound or something.
Right. So when we're talking about free will, they're being lied to and brainwashed. So that's not free will.
Yeah.
Now free will would be, here's all the facts from both sides. This is it. Now make your decision. That's not what they're doing.
That's true.
With it.
Yeah. Very manipulative.
They're going, the conservatives and the pro-lifers are going, here's all the facts, like look at your sonogram, do the whole nine. You'll like, if you just look at what we're presenting, you're going to change your mind. The left and the abortion, the pro-choice people are like, no, they're liars. They just want to have you take care of a baby that you can't take care of. They want to see you die, basically.
Yeah.
They have to go that far in order to make them like go like, okay, I don't want to talk to them.
That's manipulative.
So it's manipulative. Yeah. So they're taking
and then they
away
call
their
us
free will.
manipulative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Or I mean, or it's also just like they're hiding a lot of the information, but they had enough of that time to do that where they could manipulate people. Now the information's starting to come out, and you're starting to see people are changing their mind. Look, Trump won the election, so
yeah,
like if that's not proof that people are somewhat changing their mind, then
Trump himself changed his mind, according to him, on the Aborsh question. He used to be very pro-choice. He described himself. I remember hearing, I think, in an old interview, I would call myself very pro-choice. And now he's pro-life, except for the exceptions, which I disavow, but whatever. You know, that's, and that's, I think he said that after he had his grandchild. And I'm chuckling because who knows? Whatever, I don't care. At least he's for the right thing now, you know? Basically.
Yeah, it's like we all have our roads how we got here.
Yeah.
Just because they're not all the same doesn't mean like, hey, we arrived at this point at least.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Nice. You know, there people say, and I think it's true, that and I will get to the rest of your calls, all your calls. Hopefully. There is one line open. But people say that atheists will say that Christian parents are brainwashing and manipulating and putting fear in their children.
It depends on how the parents are presenting Christ to their kids. Now, if it's like hey, don't do that because God's watching, I don't have a problem with that. Like, that actually saved me from doing a lot of stupid stuff. Still to this day. You know what I mean?
He sees everything you do.
Yeah.
Nice. Act like Jesus is with you all the time. It's reminding me of this Christian punk song. Go ahead.
Well, my grandmother used to do this thing where she would, like, if I was lying, she would tell me to stick out my tongue, and if I was lying, there would be a line on my tongue.
Whoa.
That only she could see.
That's funny.
So she would always catch me lying from just that. And it's like, that's manipulation.
Right.
But she got me to tell the truth. So I guess it's intent, or what your intended results maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep in the philosophy.
I think that I think that they're kind of right, though, that there is a faithless, fear-filled motivation sometimes. Women do this a lot, but men do it too. But mothers will look at the world and be distraught at all the evil things in the world, and they'll feel an inward panic to protect the child from the world by brainwashing the child with the factual truth about gay is wrong and abortion is wrong and these people going to hell and all that stuff. And those are factual things that have to do with the truth, but it's not the truth, because the truth doesn't come from panic and fear and forcing stuff on the kids. Kids kind of naturally know a lot of the truth. They are a sponge. They'll soak up different things a lot, and they'll adopt stuff from their mothers or from the world or whatever, or all the above. But it's kind of, the Christian parents are often as faithless as the world and manipulative and worldly as the world in their pushing of the Christianity on the kids.
Yeah, I think it depends on the kid, because I don't think you can really blanket this. Like, I get it, you can have like a general, like, this is what Christian parents should do, right? But for instance, I think a lot of Christian parents push more of the sort of like a fear of God more than love of God and understanding of God, that kind of thing.
True.
I think that would be more beneficial. The problem is that can a teenage boy actually understand all that? Like, it didn't take me till I got in my, or a 5-year-old or whatever. So it's like, that's where I get, like, sometimes, like, you have to simplify it and make it to where a 5-year-old can understand it. You know what I mean? So, like, if you want to call it manipulation, I guess it is technically.
Do you think
But
they need to
I
teach
think
it
when
at all?
well, I think it worked for me. That's why I'm not fully against it.
Yeah.
Like I had to learn later in life the sort of the love and understanding of God, and that took me like actually reading the Bible and understanding, you know, the ethics and the morals of Christianity. So
Yeah.
that's that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can expect a, you know, I mean maybe a teenager can. I don't see why not. They're reading Harry Potter. Why not read the Bible?
Yeah. I noticed
So
that a lot of my values that I learned were from my mother because she was more preachy about it than from my father. And my father was much more hands off, laissez faire. Not like totally hands off, but he was like kind of gave us more freedom as kids, more freedom to be whatever. And you could say, oh, it's partly because he was working and busier, and my mother was just more involved in raising us. But I noticed that my mother was more of a sort of a worry wart. She would worry about us sometimes, and she would also teach us these different things. Oh, you in that movie last night, or this movie that we're gonna watch, you'll see a man and a woman sleeping together. It was like this movie where I think it was the white-haired comedian guy. I forget what his name from Father of the Bride, but he was in another movie. And you see him kind of curled up in a fetal position on the same bed, and the woman is there. I'm like, you don't even really see anything, but you're not supposed to sleep together until marriage. You're not supposed to have sex until marriage. And so I learned that, and I remember telling my friends, because my friends, one of them was like more degenerate. Like we were in fourth grade maybe, or second grade. He's like, you have to have sex in order to have kids. I'm like, no, you're supposed to get married first. And then I didn't say no sex. But then they're like, oh, James thinks that you just get married, you wait a while, and then you're gonna have kids. That's not what I was saying. But anyway, like I learned all these different things about stuff, and you know, I'm not saying it's a full-blown bad thing. I don't know. But I notice and I appreciate more that my dad was more, he was less pushing of the morals on us than my mother, who was more like preaching, and I turned into a little bit of a preacher somewhat sometimes, and pushing that stuff on my friends when I didn't even really know what I was talking about or necessarily have it myself. Although I wasn't as bad as my friends, quote unquote. I wasn't like stealing and stuff, but it had what my friends were doing had nothing to do with me. So it was a mess.
yeah, I think that's just a thing. Like my father was more also like a lead by example kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Women are more like I have to tell you
Right.
everything I'm doing.
Yeah, true.
And I think that's more just like attention on them. Like, look at what I'm doing. They can't.
Yeah.
No woman can do a great thing if they can do it, if they're capable of it. No woman can do like a nice thing without telling anybody.
I know.
Like they have to
Shout
promote
out.
it.
Yeah. They will tell stuff. That is so
Yeah.
true. I remember women in my family telling stuff or saying stuff, and they weren't even really big gossips, but they were little gossips sometimes. Like they would say stuff that I did not need to know about other people. I'm like, why are you even telling me this? Like this has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, it's like, you know, a lot of like Christians will go, oh, I know it's not right to gossip, but
Yeah.
and then they'll say a whole bunch of stuff, and then as soon as they're done telling you everything, they go, we shouldn't gossip. We shouldn't gossip. It's like you literally just did.
Right. Terrible.
It's like you called it out before you did it, and then you called it out after you did it.
Yeah. So we got to rein in ourselves, our tongues, our minds, like you said, and then our families, and then the church, and then the world. Not be
Absolutely.
jumping. Now, it's good if we have
Great
the
way to put that.
opportunity to push a pro-life law. I think it's a good thing to push a pro-life law if we can do it. I'm not against. I'm not talking about disengaging from politics, obviously.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like you know, that's going to be part of it that I don't think a lot of Christians talk about. It's like, just because somebody calls themselves a Christian doesn't mean they're actually a Christian.
That's
Doesn't mean
right.
they actually believe in God. There's a grift in this.
Indeed. Totally, man.
Yeah.
And people get caught up and don't even realize that they're grifting, you know? They don't realize that they're all ego. That they're like, I don't think. I mean, I kind of knew, but I was caught up when I was, well, maybe I still do, but when I think back to times when I know that I was just on a trip, I was tripping. I was on a trip. I didn't fully, I kind of knew, but I didn't fully know. You know what I mean? I was caught up.
No,
I'm
I get
repeating
you.
myself. Okay, I have super chats to read and calls to get to. Let's get to a call here. Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation is live with the Hake report. Make sure that you're following the Misfit Nation on Rumble, both the user and the channel. Because
Yes.
they're going to get going. KIRK in Las Vegas, Nevada, though, is on the line here. KIRK, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for calling.
Awesome. I just want to address a couple things. One was, I believe this nation was originally founded as a Christian nation, and if you look at like how we used to run our society was through the church. The school was through the church. The welfare system was through the church. So if you needed food, you needed shelter, you went to the church. And then so if people saw that abusing that, the church could call that out because they talked to them weekly, they talked to them daily. Whereas now people just use welfare day in and day out. They lie, and there's no regulation, at least socially, on how to regulate those things. And that comes with job placement. All those types of things were ran through the church, and that's makes a way better nation. And then the last thing I wanted to address is Don. I'm sorry, what was your name, sir? The guest?
Chrishaun, Crishaun, Crishaun the Don, D-O-N.
Crishaun the Don, Perry on. You mentioned how some churches kind of sway. Like if you went into a church and you were to say, you can't have women pastors here, how they would act and all that. And I agree with you. But even within that system, within the mostly Protestant churches where some women are pastors and so forth, you still have a lower divorce rate, a lower abortion rate, a lower, like, basically non-degeneracy rate within that system alone. So I still think it's better to, live through the church, even though they have the flaws today that you didn't see when we first started the Christian nation.
Is that true?
So I understand that point, but even within the confines of that, we still have a better morality surface.
Is that so? Is it true that do you know offhand where you heard that statistic that that even the liberal churches, if you will, are have better, we'll call it outcomes in terms of life?
Yeah, well, I know for sure the divorce rate is like 20% for Protestant religion.
No,
which is
real
like
quick.
50%.
The thing is, though, you would have to have like a study that compares the more liberal progressive churches to the more traditional churches and what their divorce rates are. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Okay,
like
sure.
I'm in no disagreement that Christian morality, even like when they're like saying, they're promoting homosexuality, like that's still better than Islam. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Like, yeah, like it's kind of apples to oranges, but I still don't think it's a good thing. I think we need to
rotten apples to
regress
rotten oranges.
back.
Yeah, but how many are actually promoting that?
I
don't
think it's still
many
bad.
churches promote that.
Yeah,
there is some liberal
quite
churches
a few
that are absurd, but I don't think anyone's promoting.
That's
there's some.
That's like the first
but
thing that liberal churches did was remove the homosexuality is a sin thing.
Well, I don't know. You're talking about in recent times because they were starting to have women pastors before they started accepting the gays, I think.
That's true. It was the women stuff that brought in the gays.
First, they brought in the
at my
drums.
church,
I'm just kidding.
At my church, there's a woman pastor, and when we see someone in that lifestyle, we recommend counseling. Like we address it.
So you're under a woman pastor?
No, she's not the main pastor.
Oh, she's
the
a
main
pastor.
pastor's the gentleman. If it were the main pastor, I wouldn't be there. where I
Nice.
let things be what they are,
Yeah.
and I just put in my truth as I roll with it. But again, even at that church where we have a woman pastor, when that behavior, we're talking about homosexuality, it starts to manifest within the church, we address it.
Yeah, you know what? Come to think of it, I went to a church for years that had the husband and wife were both considered pastors. The husband was clearly the pastor, but it was Pastor Jack and Pastor Jill. It was Pastors Jack and Jill. Like it wasn't
was their real
actually that.
names?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe I should have Joe and Jane because anyway. But anyway, I didn't even really think much about it. But it, and then every now and then she would speak, and sometimes I liked what she said. I don't know. I was a little intellectual. I wasn't a male feminist that I knew of. Maybe I was and just didn't realize it. But you're right. Like, and they were quite conservative. The male pastor, the pastor's daughter, very outspoken in politics in terms of like pro like Rush Limbaugh and all that stuff, and against Clinton and the Democrats and they weren't for sex out of wedlock. They kind of ousted a young couple who was having sex out of wedlock and getting pregnant, or the girl was getting pregnant. So they were pretty conservative, even with the woman being a so-called like little side pastor thing. But
Yeah, but that's
slips
because
away. That's how it starts, right?
the man was still the head of it. Because like
Yeah.
if he was like a strong,
It's just a
strong
name at that
alpha
point.
male,
Yeah.
then which I think it shows a little crack in his kind of thing where it's like you're letting your wife
Call herself a pastor.
go in there and call herself a leader. I think is
Right.
another like that's
Yeah.
a little.
It
Like
is.
that's my problem with it. I don't know if women shouldn't be leading in the church.
Yeah.
If they can't, not
But
leading
it's-
their household.
It's interesting. Christians and men will make exceptions, and they will make compromises with stuff that's actually out of order, and you don't immediately see the harm in it. What's the harm? That's Pastor Jill or Jane.
And what it really comes
It
down
is
to
a
at the end of the
slippery
day is
slope.
he doesn't want to hear his wife's mouth at the end of the day going, "Why can't I be a pastor?"
A lot of guys, a lot of pastors I know, they became Christians or they started coming to church to get with the girl that they're married to now. And so
but
they
it's
kind
better
of
to
followed
find
the
a wife
woman.
there.
They followed the woman into the religion. And then they became
that
pastors.
does happen a lot.
Yeah.
That does happen
I'll be
a
honest.
lot.
That's what happened when I first went to church as a teen.
To get with some girl.
Yeah, and then I fell away for a while,
Yeah.
and then I eventually came back. So
You
it's
liked
like-
the truth that you were hearing in the church. Or
Yeah,
you liked
yeah.
the memory of the girl, maybe.
No, not even.
Nice.
Not even. Yeah.
Yeah, women overrepresentate in especially Protestant churches.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Like black women in the black churches, it's black women that they. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Partly why they kiss up to them for the attendance and the money and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that's
kiss-
part of
black
it.
communities
But my point
are-
is, don't
I
throw
kiss
the
up
baby
to
out
my
with the
audience all the time. Just because I call them dumb in the snake pit, it doesn't mean that I don't kiss up to them. I totally like have that. There's that temptation, that weakness for your audience.
Yeah.
You gotta
Oh,
work them.
my whole
My
point-
political correctness is I have to kiss up to the Jew haters and the flat earthers.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Shout out.
the
Okay,
grapers.
I mean, does it not say in the Bible that there's a firmament?
Yeah, there's a firmament, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a ball earth firmament.
How does that happen?
We'll have to talk about it later, man.
can't do flat earth.
Kirk, please call again.
All right. Fair
I didn't
enough.
mean to
Hey,
get you
hey,
started.
I appreciate your guest. And
Yeah,
I
me
appreciate
too.
The word he's spreading, too.
Great call, man.
Thank you,
Thank
Kirk.
you, guys.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye. Shout out. Quickly, before I get to your friend and mine, my co-host, I got to get to Ryan in Illinois, who is live here with Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. What's up, Ryan in Illinois?
What's going on, Hake? What's going on, Chrishaun?
Hey,
What's up, Ryan?
Ryan.
Don't you really much know Chrishaun, but I seen him do a couple of shows with you, so I kind of like him. He got some good things to say.
Indeed, he
you know,
has.
but, pretty much
Thank
what
you.
I want to say is that we
Turn
are
off your
still-
turn off your speakerphone. Come to regular phone. I'm getting a screeching feedback or something.
Yeah.
My
it's like
bad. Can you hear
tinny.
me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you sound like you're in a big empty room with
I'm
no.
just in a
A lot of mids in
I
your
am in an
voice.
empty room. That's why I sound like an echo like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just stay
I
close
don't-
to your phone.
Why don't black people
All right,
ever have
hey.
furniture?
Blacks and
I-
bachelors.
I just want to say that I think we still are a Christian country, but I think we fell short because we don't shame people no more, and we lost our morals and our character in the church. We're too accepted to the change, I think, or the evolution of what's happening today. They tell you to come as you are, and people actually do come as they are, gay, lesbian, all that. You know, back in the day, that wasn't, looked upon in a opening space. Today, people just doing what they want. So I think it's kind of like people just go around and say that they're Christians, but they're not really acting like it. You know what I mean? It's more accepted to be a gay Christian today than it was back in the day. That's what I think.
So true, man. So true.
Yeah. We stopped
And
judging.
then, and then this is one thing I gotta say too.
We
Hey.
judged maybe overly at one point, and now we judge underly. So we're judging
Yes.
ourselves I don't think we ever
We're-
stopped judging. We're just not judging righteously. Period.
We're overcompensating
Yeah,
for
people
don't
judging
got no
too
shame
harshly
no
at
more.
one point.
Yep.
they just feel free to do what they want to do.
It's kind of like racism.
I
We
think
were
that-
we were once too strong on the blacks, too white, too strong.
Here we go.
Now we're not white
I
enough,
knew
not
some
strong
racist
enough.
was coming. I knew some racist was coming out your mouth. Hey.
You
No,
had a-
look,
shouldn't it be
hey,
more
I
like-
want to say,
Real quick, the whole thing of like come as you are, right? I don't know. I don't know if that was just some hippie stuff that was made up, or if there's like some Christian kind of like logic to it. But
I think it's both.
I think more.
I think it might be both satanic and Christian. I'm not sure.
Well, I think if you added like come as you are, but don't stay as you are,
Yeah. Right.
I think that
Right,
would be
right,
more of a
I can understand that.
accurate. thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Go
all
ahead,
right, two
Ryan.
more things before I go. Hey, I ain't really got that much to say.
Nice.
I do want to say shout out to Mark, because I never thought I would ever hear a white man as racist as he is looking out for the blacks like he did on the Anchor Baby show, how he's taking up for the black police officer.
Right
I
on.
want to say shout out to Mark. Shout out to Mark. And another thing about the Mexicans that I didn't get to say, do you know that Mexicans raise their daughters to not mess with black guys? They actually tell them that.
Yeah.
Like, don't sleep with black men. Like, that's a thing in their culture. Did you know that?
I don't know if I knew that specifically from the parents, but I have known that a lot of Mexicans, some of them of which like who grew up in LA, like they know
Right.
that to watch out for blacks. So they have like they're freely say the N-word and are kind of like the people who grew up with and or know blacks better are more quote unquote racist. For sure.
Well, I think that it's
And they have
just
less
kinda
white
funny
guilt.
to me. I think it's funny to me that the Mexicans be asking for black help today, and they never like us. They tell their kids not to like us.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's like this hatred, the hatred from Mexicans to blacks has always been a thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of shocking that they're even asking for help. Like, come on, man, what y'all doing? Y'all don't even like us, really.
Very true, man.
You know what I mean?
It's just
And let me ask
mutual
you something about the
exploitation.
white guilt.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something about the white guilt. Since the Mexicans raise their daughters to like hate us, right?
Uh-huh.
But it don't always work.
Right.
Why don't the whites tell their daughters not to mess with the blacks? Is it the white guilt or what?
Yeah, it's that false brainwashing, anti-racist brainwashing. It's terrible. It affected the
terrible.
boomers bad. But us younger
That's all I
younger
got
up
for you
and
today, my
comers,
racist friend.
us younger up and comers don't have that hang up so badly necessarily.
No, because this young generation, I think, are like more careless. They don't really care.
Don't you
That's why they
notice?
so
Don't you
far
notice
gone.
that? Don't you notice that blacks and whites and Asians and Hispanics and all races they prefer that their own kinds generally stay with their own kind.
No, that's a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
You
I don't
except for me, you know I like the white girls. Shout out to the white girls.
Terrible.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just perverted, though.
But
That's
no.
just perversion. That's just lust.
It's not lust. 'Cause look,
No, yeah,
what if I'm
it is
trying
though. If
to-
you're saying
Look,
like
hey,
you like
I'm
a
trying to
general group of
reverse
girls.
slavery.
Right.
What's the only way that I can reverse slavery, hey?
That's like a gateway into.
What's
Never-
the
I'm not gonna
only
go
way
there.
that I can reverse slavery, hey?
By
What's the only way?
by becoming a master.
No, I
Yeah,
have
and
to put black babies in the white women.
Interracial relationships were happening during slavery,
That's
so
true.
you have no point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
that's
got no
only
point,
because
buddy.
the slave
You're
masters.
just angry-
that's
you're
because
angry
the
about
slave masters
slavery.
Was raping us, though. The slave masters was raping the women back then.
Like
that was
no, that's not true.
wanted
Not
sex.
that
That's
there's
not true.
anything wrong with that.
That's not true.
Yeah,
That
it's not
is
true.
Women,
That is true.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Women always want to have sex with a powerful man.
That's right.
So of
They
course
liked it.
there's going to be
I mean,
slaves
come on
the
now. I ain't
plantation.
saying that it wasn't a
That-
couple little dots that wanted to sleep with masters. I
That's
mean,
right.
come on now.
Good point,
I'm sure there
Chrishaun.
was.
Yeah.
But majority,
so what are you talking
majority of
about,
it was rape.
No,
You
you're
know what I'm
saying
What's your proof?
you don't know what
What's
you're
your
talking
proof?
about. You're just making
Other
an
than
assertion.
roots, what's your proof?
You said, what's my proof?
Yeah, other than that fake movie called Roots, that fake made-up story called Roots.
No, my granny used to tell me, my great-great-great-granny used to tell me back in the day that majority of the slaves that she lived with got raped by master, and that was all under
and
women's
was-
You
sex.
and
knew
was she
your
an old-
great granny?
Was she an old wife? That's an old wives'
No,
tale.
She wasn't
I
an
don't
old
even-
wife, but she was light-skinned, so maybe her mama got raped by a slave owner too. You know what I'm saying?
There's a whole lot
Like,
of maybes
it's crazy.
going on.
Yeah,
Because
it's a lot of conjecture.
Yeah, if you read The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood by Jesse Lee Peterson, you'll find out that there was some guy, some radical like Muhammad Ali or Malcolm X or somebody who made the claim, maybe they both made the claim. I don't quote me on who said it, but it's one of these black radicals from the 60s or something said, oh, if there's white blood in me, it's from rape of my white ancestors, just smearing his white ancestors. When in reality,
saying, bro.
his name, this person's name came down, maybe it was Cassius Clay, came down from like an open-minded, sorry kids, open-minded Irish farmer who got with a black woman, married her. It wasn't rape, it was slander on the part of the guy who cried rape on his ancestor. Shameful.
Well, like I'm saying,
He's
I
shaming
didn't
his
say
ancestors.
All. Some
What a
people,
disgrace.
Some. I didn't say all. Hey, some, not all.
Right.
You know,
I know, but
it's a lot of evil white men out there.
But
Y'all
didn't you
are
know?
very
But
evil,
didn't you
but
catch that
some
my
of y'all
So there
did
were-
it the
my
right way.
example? The guy lied about it. He didn't even know what he was talking
No,
about,
I
just
get
like
what you're
you.
saying.
Well,
I
Ryan,
get what you're saying.
by your okay, so there were black slave drivers as well, and I'm of Irish
Yeah,
descent. So is it okay for me to say that I need to put babies in black women to get back for slavery?
No, I'm
To
just
overcome-
saying, if you feel like that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. But I feel like in order
No,
to
no.
make
My point
race
is, I don't
whole
even
again-
think you feel like that's what you need to do. You're just
Yeah.
saying it to be a shock jock.
No,
right
That's
I'm
now.
right.
being
You're
funny.
You're trying to be
though.
shocking
I'm being
and like
funny.
it's rage bait. Yeah, it's rage bait.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm just being
He
funny.
got you pinned.
I'm just being funny.
You think you're so funny.
He's definitely right. All I was doing was being funny.
That's
The only
right.
way I can
Okay,
reverse
that's fair.
slavery
That's
is just
fair.
having white and black babies. That's it. That's all.
No, you're also trying to get under Mark from Los Angeles' skin, and it might be
Why are
working.
you trying to say that, man? Don't piss Mark off. We having a good conversation.
I know, but
I
you're-
don't want to hear him
you're
getting
trying
online
to-
talking about the black.
You well
I don't
know
want
that
to hear
it's
him getting mad at the blacks today.
you
I
well.
always said shout out to Mark. I said shout out to Mark. I don't want no smoke with Mark.
All right, well then lay off the interracial braggery.
I can't help it. Hey,
All right, Ryan. Yeah, go ahead. Chrishaun.
hey. Trump set a law for you to have a baby. Are you going to take the bait?
Maybe.
$1,000. Hey, come on, have you a white and black baby. Hey,
No, I mean,
Oh my God.
well, I don't. I never say never, but I don't know. But hopefully not.
never say never. Hey, you
Go
might
ahead.
end
Have you
up
a
with a
little
black
Marley?
woman.
Hopefully I have enough. Hopefully I'm not so
Stop.
lustful
Don't
that I
say
fall
that.
for a black
Do
gal.
not say
Hey
that.
Ryan,
Don't
say
do
that,
you
man.
know something that I've learned because I date a lot of black women? Black women actually
What
love
happened?
racist. They love racist white men.
I know. Ain't that weird though? I like it too.
No.
I like when a white girl call me the N-word. We all like that, don't we?
Maybe it is a
Feel
racial
powerless.
maybe it is a racial fetish thing, but I think
Yeah,
it's more
so.
because black men like lie to them so much that when they hear like the truth and they see somebody who's not really like
Nah,
emotional, they kind of like, oh, I
I don't
like
think
that.
that's what
Good
it is.
man.
They only
Yeah.
sleep with y'all because y'all pay. You know,
I knew you were gonna say that. That's
y'all
hilarious.
spend your whole paycheck
See, you-
on the
You don't
on the black women. So I
no, you don't
understand.
realize that there you just admitted to it as well that there is a fetish from black women to be with white men.
Mm. Yeah.
Like that's a thing. You think that it's like you think that it's the only way it is it's
Not
the
a
reverse that white women just
It's
like
not a
black
fact.
men.
But he brought
It
up
is.
he brought up
Fact.
an interesting point though. He brought up an interesting. Do you spend money on her?
No, she
Yes,
spends
he
money
does.
on me.
Hey,
Stop
you hear
playing.
that? She
Chrishaun,
spends money
stop
on
lying,
him.
Chrishaun. Chrishaun, stop lying.
He's
We
never
know
lied
you
in his
pay
life.
to
That's
play,
serious.
man. We
That's
know you
serious.
pay to play, Chrishaun.
All
I
right,
pay to
Ryan,
play.
I gotta
don't
run.
know. If you want to get into that argument, that's like
Hey, y'all
high
have a
school.
wonderful day, man. Stay blessed.
You as well, man. Take care. He's
By the way, also it's very well known that black men pay for women more than anybody. Like, what do you think their whole entire shtick is, where they're showing off their money?
That's right.
And then they get screwed over by women, like robbing them and setting them up to get killed. Like, you don't see that really with white men as much.
Yeah, white men are starting to fall down that path, but it's not as well. I don't know. Yeah, you raise an interesting point. Okay, we have to get to a couple super chats, and then I want to get to Mark coming up next on the line. There is one line open, guys, but let's get to some of these super chats. JC, I was remiss. Jalen, 8, gave me a super chat about just get the pettiness over with, Hake. Take the $150. Stop the pettiness. Yikes, he says. Thank you for the advice, JC. Pardon me, I was remiss. I missed your chat. Manuel, 5 coffees. They are not our allies. Who's they? I disavow the they question. Yesterday proved they aren't looking to be at peace. I'm emphasizing the they, but he said they attacked even when Trump said not to. Just remember who. I'm emphasizing the who. I'm disavowing all of this. I'm putting extra emphasis on it. Anyway, just to remember who cheered on and voted for American youth to be sent to war on behalf of the Not America First movement. So a certain country can, why am I doing this? Can build their empire, while pillaging America of its money, weapons, and military-aged men. And says Manuel. Wow, Manuel, I disavow that observation. Okay, anyway. That's obviously talking about Israel.
Yeah, I figured.
And Jews. Shout out.
Ooze.
Did you know that's because of the echo signs? That echo sign. I learned this from like SPLC or ADL or something. I learned all about the white nationalists and so-called anti-Semites from like these liberal communist, pro-Jewish, supposedly liberal Jewish organizations. So that's how I learned about Asmodor a little bit. That's how I learned about the echo signs, the multiple parentheses, which I disavow. But that came from some show that they had, The Daily Show. And it was, they would echo any name that was Jewish. Terrible.
Oh, okay.
So it was an audio thing, and then they turned it into like parentheses to make it look like echoes.
Like to symbolize.
Yeah.
It.
So the Jewish people who were fighting against hate by calling attention to this hateful, significant thing, this hateful symbology, they infected me with it. And so now I'm doing it. And the Jews themselves will put multiple parentheses around their names. I wouldn't know anything about this stuff if it weren't for them spreading hate, trying to fight hate. They're spreading it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I never noticed that. I have to pay attention to that now. The parentheses thing. I've never
Right.
seen that.
So anyway, to address Manuel's point, his 5 coffees. Thank you, sir. Okay, so Trump has said not to do things, and people do stuff anyway, like Israel and Netanyahu bombed the or attacked or sent missiles at the nuclear enrichment facility in Iran yesterday, I heard. This is what he's referring to. And he defied Trump, basically, kind of. But was it Trump saying, don't do it because I don't want you to do it? Or saying, don't do it, winky face emoji, do what you want, and that'll help me force Iran to come to a deal? What do you say? Was it clever, or was it... what's your take? I know you're kind of pro-Israel like I am, but I'm also pro-America, tied for first. Not America second or last. America tied for first with Israel. Guys, what do you say?
I only say that. Yeah, I only agree with you on that. Yes, because biblically, we as Christians, it says in the Bible, he who doesn't bless Israel is going to be cursed. He who does bless Israel will be blessed. So,
is that biblical Israel?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't take that to mean like I should bless, or I can't even bless anybody. I'm not God, but I should. That doesn't mean I have to support Netanyahu. Like, he's not a religious figure. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's more of the land, pretty much.
Oh, the land, not the people, not the nation of Israel.
I think it's the land, as in the yeah, they're the people too, but I think it's more of the what is it called? The I can't think of the word. Geez, I'm sorry. The religious sites, I guess.
Oh yeah,
that kind of thing.
You think God cares about that stuff, like we do? Because
we
like it. I totally like it.
I don't know,
but
to be honest, because I mean, why would God promise Abraham land? You know what I mean, and say for generations later we have to bless it? Like, so to me, this is my thing. When it comes to that, in terms of God, like, I'm willing to be naive with certain things because I know I'm not supposed to understand certain things. So that I can't answer that question for you, to be honest, Hake. I don't know if God. It seems like he does to some degree.
You know, I think he did it because people need land to live on. So it wasn't that he cared about the land necessarily. He just, you're going to have a land flowing with milk and honey. It's going to be a great land. You're going to love it. It's going to be so nice. It's going to be the best land. I'm making God like he talks like Trump. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I just find it to be pretty interesting that it's a choice that we have to make in the Bible, and now we're seeing it presented before us in real time. So that's where I go, like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be naive, and we're supposed to be naive on certain things when it comes to God. And there's a lot of Christians that get really uncomfortable by that statement.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, tell me why I'm wrong in that. Like,
well,
what do you think faith is?
In terms of, I don't believe that we should curse any people necessarily, unless God tells us to curse them. But I don't know if God tells us to curse anybody. So just because Israel may not be the biblical Israel, it was set up by the UN, maybe some misguided Christians, people claim, and stuff. It still has those sites, and that's nice, and Christians like to go there, and they run it better than the Palestinians would, perhaps. The Palestinians are, I don't think they're that high quality of people, notwithstanding that they have maybe 3% Christian or more Christians. Israel has like 3% Christian too, I think, but maybe it's less. But anyway, like we shouldn't be cursing Israel or Palestinians or anybody, period. And I actually, as prime ministers go, I like Netanyahu. He's manly. Look at him. He opposed Obama. That's another reason why I like him. And he got along with Trump, sort of. He just, I was talking with another man, a boomer, and this other man, this boomer, said that Netanyahu expresses himself really well and really clearly, and like no other politician does. And other than maybe Trump, I put that in. My boomer friend didn't say that. And so I've always just kind of liked him. I know that he's been pushing scaremongering, you could call it, about Iran, but Iran kind of is a problem. They're a problem for each other, Iran and Israel. So I don't know. I think that Trump can kind of handle this and use this attack as a, hey, it's going to get a lot worse. The next attack is going to be even worse. So let's make a deal. What do you say?
Well, I think the fact is too that they're fighting our enemy too, which is Islam. They're literally the Palestinians, they're trying to take over the world.
The Palestinians are, or you mean that Iran is?
No, I'm talking about Islam.
Oh, the Muslims.
Yeah. I'm just giving you my take on it in terms of like the.
I heard this about the Persian or the Iranian, at least the current one, because older Iran was freer, but yeah, they literally want to. They think if they destroy Israel, then that'll bring in. You know how they talk about the third temple or whatever that the Jews want to bring in. Well, the Muslims want to bring in the 8th Imam or something like that. I heard on the radio one time from this other radio host yesterday, actually. And so they want to destroy the world too and dominate the world too. It's not just Israel trying to dominate. Can't be holding against Israel just because they want their temple. Go ahead.
Right. Well, the thing is because I think that's where people conflate things, where it's like, is it really Israel? And I'm not going to say that they're not trying to dominate things.
Yeah.
But is them fighting, the Palestinians and what's going on in Gaza, is that domination? Or is that them just like defending themselves, fighting back?
I think that they are, I think they've gone beyond defending themselves into dominating to make sure that that these people are never a problem again.
Yeah.
I'm saying it so harshly and crazy, but that's obviously what they're doing. They're trying to clear the area. You can call it ethnic cleansing. You can call it genocide. I don't care about your liberal emotional words. Yeah, maybe they're killing more than they should. I don't know. But that's what they're doing. They're clearing out a problem people who are constantly breeding new attackers.
Well, again, too, it's been proven that they're using basically people as human shields, some of them willingly.
Yeah, both sides, I heard. Both sides are using Palestinians as human shields. I heard.
As human shields?
Yeah, because some of the
Israelis... I don't know.
According to the liberal media, which I heard, and I tend to believe some of it, like they made some like civilians go in and kind of scout and then be sort of human shield-esque. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that story.
Yeah. But they live to tell about it at least. Whereas with the Hamas, many of them have not lived to tell about it.
My problem is it's hard to believe anything from the other side. I try to be open-minded about it, but it's literally coming from terrorists. Even when they go,
and they are propagandists. Look at all the victim people on their side too. Here, it's basically Black Lives Matter, Antifa who are on their side. Go ahead.
And a lot of conservatives even, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, Israel would drop a bomb, to take out some terrorists, and then within like minutes they're like, they killed 30,000 people. It's like, how did you even count that?
I know, good question.
I didn't even know.
That's true.
And then the American media just runs with the numbers that came from a terrorist organization. You don't think like Hamas isn't professionals in propaganda? Like that's pretty much what Islam is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Look at, yeah, so true, man. Manuel says, "My bad, Hake. My half breed came out within 5 more coffees because he's talking about they and them and going after Israel." And I'll have to read the rest of your guys' super chats here, but I'm glad that you brought that up, Manuel. Great topic, and we have calls to get to about America and Israel and Christianity and all that stuff. But let's move forward. We got to get to Mark in Los Angeles, California. The great Mark from Los Angeles with Crishaun the Don. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi. Yes, sir. First, I want to shout out to Ryan. I appreciate his kind words. And if you guys had seen these 2 Mexicans calling this black cop the N-word, I mean, it was ugly. And I use the word myself, but only in anger or if I'm being assaulted or in a fight with one.
Okay.
But these guys are just doing it gratuitously. And I told Anchor Baby I wish the cop would have shot him. I know that's over the top, but they deserved it. Secondly,
it is over the top, man.
Pardon?
It is over the top, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I wish it would have happened anyway. Just to Chrishaun here, don't ever use the terms us and we. You're not a white man. You're a half-breed. You're grifting off the white racial struggle, and you're not one of us.
I don't want to be white, Mark.
Wait a minute.
I admit that I'm not white.
Furthermore, the argument against big government is garbage. If you have you insulted me the last time we talked, buddy.
Yeah,
so
you said, "Are you an idiot?"
Yeah, because
you want a dictator for a minute.
You're no better than lefties. That's why we don't like lefties.
Judges, we got judicial tyranny right now, and we need a dictator, a benevolent dictator, to make America white again. And that doesn't include you, Chrishaun.
All right, Mark.
Don't say we, because you're not one of us. You're just a half-breed looking for a grip.
Mark,
okay?
Mark, when I say...
you're not Crishaun the Don, you're the half-breed.
Mark, you're spurging.
Okay?
You're spurging out, buddy.
No.
You're angry and you're spurging.
Everything you said last
Listen to what I'm
time
saying.
Is garbage. We don't need a small government. We need a big government that's pro-white and pro-Christian. And
yes, because you're a commie. You're a commie.
Listen,
that's why you want big government. Yes, you are.
What is ICE? Genius.
You literally pushed for national socialism last time you were on the show.
ICE is.
You're a socialist. You're a Bernie Sanders guy.
See, he won't let me talk. He doesn't.
You're not letting me talk.
Just like that devil worshiper that wants to give you 150. I'll tell you what, Hake. Take his money, put this clown on, and put the other clown on at the same time. I'll take them both on.
All right, Commie Mark. Let me ask you a question.
For me, a half-breed doesn't speak for me.
Mark, I'm not speaking for you.
To Ryan's point, Ryan, if you keep chasing
no,
women,
Mark, I'm not letting you move on. Mark, stop. I'm not letting you move on, Mark. I want to ask you a question.
Care. You can say what you want. You don't.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time. Let me.
Because he knows his worldview can't stand any critique. That's why he's not. He wants to be on his soapbox right now. Let me ask you a question. Let me just ask a question.
Half-breeds in this battle. Okay.
I'm not in your battle. I'm not in the race war. I'm not a stupid retard like you. Let me ask you a question.
You come on the Hake show, sounding off for a white man, and you're a half-breed yourself. So Ryan, if you have
talking
kids,
as a Christian,
like this guy.
Mark, let me ask you. Let's make this conversation productive. So you're claiming, your whole claim is like that you can basically do anything to white people, say anything about white people, and you won't get in trouble for it, right?
Well, if you're a colored guy, right. For example, can I give you an example?
No, I don't want to hear any examples from you.
Oh, sir, you don't want to hear.
Let me ask you another question. No, I want to ask you a question, Mark. I want to ask you a question. Can you get demonetized on Twitch, TikTok, or YouTube for saying the word cracker?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
I think you can.
You can.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so then you're peddling a lie that you can't say anything about white people without getting in trouble for it. You can. You can lose money. You can lose your platform.
If you're pro-white, you can lose everything.
Yeah, that's
okay.
true.
But if you're also anti-white, you can lose everything too.
Crime wave, they'll take you off.
Okay, but you're peddling a lie, though, is what I'm saying.
What lie?
You can get in trouble.
Liar. You're the liar.
You can get in trouble. Okay,
Listen
so
to
let
me.
me ask
Listen
you. Let
to
me
me.
ask you a question.
No, no.
Why do you
okay, I
want?
already
How are
answered
you
one.
not a
Let me just
communist
make a
when you're
comment.
pushing for national
Listen,
socialism?
let me make this comment. ICE
Go ahead.
is big government. ICE is big government. Do you
No, it's
read
not.
me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Small
ICE is
government
not
doesn't
big
work.
government.
If it was small government, you'd have Newsom running things, and everything. LA would burn down. We need Trump to be a benevolent dictator.
You're
okay?
not pushing for big government. You're pushing for complete authoritarian government control. That's
I'm
a whole.
pushing
that's
for a
difference.
white racial struggle to keep us alive. And if it takes an authoritarian to do it, so be it.
Okay, so you're a communist then.
No, quite the opposite.
No,
I
you're a
believe in gas
you're
and
literally
communism.
you're literally a communist. You're in favor of
Oh, no,
national
I'm
socialism.
not.
That's a slander.
You're in favor.
That's a
You're in
lie.
favor of
The
national
communists-
socialism, right, Mark?
See, he won't let me talk, Hake. He
I'm
keeps
asking
talking
you a
over me.
question, Mark. Are you in
No,
favor of
a
national
communist,
socialism?
You asked me and I answered. You asked me.
Are you
and
in
I
favor
answered.
of national socialism? Nationalism.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, then
Let
you're
me
a
tell you this,
communist.
Hake.
You're
No,
literally
no,
a
we
communist.
killed
It's the same
communists.
thing.
The-
It's
See,
the
he
same
won't
exact
let me
thing.
talk. This coward, this half-breed, this
Go ahead.
bum won't let me talk. Okay? We killed more communists under the swastika
In war,
than any other symbol on earth. Furthermore,
in war, we disavow killing.
communism is making white girls go to school with Negroes at the point of a bayonet.
Okay, now you're
That's
getting off on a tangent.
communism.
Let me break it down.
Deporting illegal aliens.
Let me break it down, Mark, because you're obviously not
See, he
educated.
won't
on
shut
this.
up. That's
Mark,
the problem
was
with the
Hitler
half-breed.
was
You
Hitler
can't
in
shut him up.
favor? Was
You
Hitler
can't
in
shut him
favor?
up.
All right, all
Was
right, all
Hitler
right.
in
One at
favor
a
of
time.
free market capitalism?
I believe the government can play a role in preserving the white race. If it's a pro-white,
You're not answering my question.
pro-capitalist,
You're not answering my question, Mark.
Christian government. The communists are the ones forcing us into race
No,
mixing.
did the H man Hitler over Nazi Germany? Did he support free market capitalism? Yes or no?
I don't know, and I actually don't care.
Okay, let me answer it then.
From what I understood, from what I've read, mom and pop stores were allowed to thrive, but the Jewish-owned corporations, they had to leave, and I think that's good. I'm not for big business. I'm not for Jewish corporations like the media. First of all, Hank.
Okay, Mark, wait. Before you go off on a tangent again. Hitler was anti.
No
Hitler,
tangent.
Hold
that
on.
You're interrupting me every time I say something. That's not
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go point by point because you keep spurging off into a million different points. I'm trying to keep you on point. So Hitler was actually anti-free market capitalism. He wasn't in favor of it.
We're not talking economics, buddy.
We're
talking
because
race.
you're claiming that mom and pop shops were allowed to be open in Germany during the Reich, right?
Right, exactly. Just
however, they didn't own those businesses anymore. They basically were property of the government.
Well, look, those
that's communism. It's authoritarian communism,
garbage.
Mark.
Either the white race is going to survive or we're not. And we're not going to survive with petty arguments about economics when the white race
baiting
look, they've declared war on the white race. The white race is that we're being victimized by a war against us, and you're talking about small government, and you're worried about what Hitler did 80 years ago.
No, because
we need an authoritarian
I'm talking about
like
Hitler
Trump
because you're promoting his version of government.
And you're going to stay stuck on Hitler because you don't have an argument. Okay,
I'm stuck on Hitler because you're promoting his worldview and his form of government to be in America.
A white man. If it wasn't for big government, the Negroes would have never gotten their civil rights bill. Okay, you got me? You understand that?
I'm not in favor of big government, Mark. You are.
I'm against communism. When it
no, you're not. You're a communist. You're a socialist,
no, I'm not.
bro.
You're a half-breed. You're a
okay,
low
I
IQ
admit to that, at least. I am a half-breed. My father's black, my mother's white. What?
Take his $150. The guy who said it was okay to kill Babbitt, put that scumbag on with this scumbag, and I'll take them both on at the same time.
Mark, you can't even take me on, you commie.
World War II. This guy, this half-breed, wants to relive World War II.
You
What I'm
resort to
trying
to
say is,
insults because
if
you're
we
a
had
low
an
IQ. You're a
authoritarian,
low
benevolent
IQ monkey.
dictator like Trump, where we could ignore these communist judges and enforce immigration and fight for the survival of the white race, I believe in a big government. You can call me names. You can call me a communist. It's ridiculous. The Nazis killed more communists than any other group on earth. So don't play word games with me. You're not equipped.
Well,
and I
I was
don't want a
killing everybody.
half-breed sticking up for me on your show, Hake.
I'm not
I'd rather
sticking
have
up
that
for
Ryan
you,
guy
dummy.
say nice things about me than this clown. This guy
I'm not
just
sticking
he
up
gets
for
rude,
you, bro.
He gets name calling and he gets excited, just like the devil worshiper that you allowed on your air to tell us fairy tales about Kush.
He's not a devil
I'm
worshiper, man.
already
Evil
calmed down, and you're
mentality.
still angry.
But he's
I'm
not
angry at
he's
what
not a
that
devil
race
worshiper.
You're still angry.
He's a devil. He condemned me for praying for Chauvin.
That doesn't
If
mean
that
he's a
isn't
devil worshiper.
satanic,
He just
if that isn't demonic, you're both wrong. It's both.
Okay, Mark.
It's evil.
Mark. Okay, so you're talking about CJ and I.
I'm talking about the Satan worshiper.
Yeah,
the evil one.
CJ and I of Evil is Still Real. Another caller.
Creep.
We both questioned the notion of praying for people and how people pray for people. Now, you prayed yesterday. It was very nice. It was fine. I didn't necessarily see anything wrong with how you prayed for other people.
I said a prayer for him on your show.
Yeah, it was nice. It's cool. I didn't have a problem with it. Now,
I bet you that devil worshiper did.
Now, but he's not a devil worshiper. I disavow
Oh no,
that.
he's a devil worshiper.
Okay, whatever you want. Shut up. Shut up, Mark. Be quiet.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. The issue is, I think that Chrishaun is raising. Now he's calling you a communist in that a lot of times when whites get attacked, they get angry, and in being angry, they become what they hate. They become for what they hate. They adopt like a victimhood mentality. They become angry just like the angry blacks and angry victim-minded Jewish people and all these other people. And so you're hung up on the word communism and whether the fact that you're not a communist, but it's the same evil spirit as the communists when you're condemning a guy, Crishaun the Don, who supports, I think that Chrishaun would probably support Trump ignoring these judges.
Then he would be considered an authoritarian.
I don't think that he considers that authoritarianism. Do you, Chrishaun?
No, I don't.
Okay, so
and Chrishaun has the freedom of, and as a white man, Crishaun the Don, I was a white man who believes in the freedom. No, I'm saying I'm a white man, to use the term loosely, man, right? I believe in the freedom of speech for Chrishaun to say we in referring to fellow Americans, or even pretending like he's white, or calling himself white, or he's part white, he's part Irish, and you claim that Irish is white, he's part white. So I get that he's mixed, and he has this sort of a mixed mindset mentality, kind of like other mixed people whom we've known.
You can't.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, you can't trust him. I'm with you.
I'm
with you. We can't necessarily trust him, but he gets.
Wait,
he still gets to say.
I have to.
No. But let me just finish.
Go ahead. Finish that.
He still says. He can still say we. He gets the freedom of speech.
I say we when I'm talking about Christians or Americans.
Or
I'm
white
not talking
people.
about whiteness. I literally
talk okay, now we're going to split
against
hairs.
the white identity.
Okay.
Now
we
here's
get
the funny
split
thing.
hairs.
Wait, Mark, let me talk, and then I'll let you have the floor. Relax.
So you never say
funny,
we when it's talking about whites sometimes?
No, honestly, I never mean that. If it sounds like I do, then I don't. I don't.
I would think it's funny
I
to you
support white identity or black identity. I think
but you're part white, so you're white.
Stupidity.
If you're,
no, I'm Irish, Italian, Jamaican, all that stuff.
Are any of those things white? I don't know.
Here's my thing that I think is funny. Mark calls me untrustworthy, right?
Right.
Yet he literally turns on Hake every other show. One day he calls in, Hake's the greatest. I love your show. Next day he'll call in, you're a commie, you're a Satan worshiper. You're telling me I'm trustworthy? Bro, you're not even trustworthy over the phone. Shut up.
I never called Hake a commie or a devil worshiper.
You just called me a white guilt.
Your imagination. If I
You
got
say
a
he has white
criticism
guilt.
of
Then
Hake,
tomorrow you'll
I'll
call
say
in
it
and
to
say
him.
he's the greatest host ever. Bro, you're not
I
even
will
you're not
criticize him when
consistent
he's
or
wrong.
trustworthy.
Yeah, he makes a fair point that you don't call me those things that he mentioned, but you do every now and then you'll like kind of turn on me and get mad at me.
I'm sorry
He's
about
tried to
that,
get
but
your
when
show
you allow-
canceled before, Hake.
If
He
I
tried to
could
get people to
explain, will
stop
you shut him
supporting
up?
you.
That's true.
Can you shut that guy up or
I know, but
turn his
he
mic off?
Oh, what?
No, no, no,
Oh,
okay,
too much
okay.
truth. Sorry, Mark.
All right,
ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead with your lies.
What he said was another point was that you were trying to tell fellow white nationalists or whatever not to listen to my show anymore at one point.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. The reason I did it was because
you're
you were
untrustworthy.
giving a certain individual so much time that I would get very little time. I was upset about that.
Right.
And I didn't mean it. I don't think you're a communist. I don't think you're a devil worshiper. But you do give airtime to the other side.
The snakes.
With this guy
Yeah,
right
thank
here
you for that
is an example.
backpedaling nonsense. He's gonna take
no,
it back
I think
tomorrow.
that-
Do his name
no, but-
call. That's all
He's gonna call you a
is
commie
name
tomorrow.
calling
Don't
and,
believe this, Hake.
slander.
He's
He
a
has
fake
no
Christian. He's a
evidence
commie.
of anything.
He's a race
Hey, by
baiter.
the way, how do you know
He's
how
just
much
as
black
evil as
people
lefties.
pay for sex? He said black men pay for sex more. What, did you take a poll? How do you know?
Well, look at the bling that they have. That's all to get women, and then they blow
They
money.
attract
but
women with
that's
money.
not evidence, Hake, and I'm not
Oh.
saying
Yes,
it's
it
wrong.
is.
He's probably right,
Yeah.
but there's no evidence of it.
I don't
and
know.
this
There might
other
be if you look
garbage-
into it. I
No,
bet
evidence
you.
is
Black
in
women
the argument.
like
It's
white
a
racist
complete
men.
conversation
How
on
on
anecdotes.
God's earth could he know that?
He knows black
entire-
people.
the-
He used to be in the rap culture.
It
This is-
doesn't
Yes, and
matter.
the entire
Did
debate
he
is
take
based
a
on
poll?
anecdotes.
Did
There's
he
no
take
evidence
a
to
survey?
anything.
It's just his
Don't tell me
genius.
Don't tell me you stand with the blacks against the half breed.
I'm not for either one. The half breed is tainted. The black
why are you
man,
even in the
if he
argument? What are you
separates
even
and leaves
mad
our
about?
women alone, he's fine. And Ryan, if you're listening, just leave our women alone. If you don't, you're going to have a kid that looks like this guy. So think about
Not
it,
that there's
Ryan.
anything
Yeah, somebody
wrong
who
with that.
just destroyed you in a debate and destroyed your entire worldview, you commie.
Who did?
Me.
Who destroyed me?
You haven't argued why you're not a communist. You haven't made it, or you haven't
Because I don't
demonstrated it.
believe in communism. I don't believe in race mixing. The difference between for this genius that I got to explain.
So
this
you
to,
don't know what
one of the
communism is.
fundamental
Mark,
differences. Shut up. One of the
explain communism.
fundamental
Explain
differences
communism.
between National Socialism and communism is race. The commies believe in race mixing. I don't. You're the product of it. Okay, National Socialism says no to race mixing. And if it takes an authoritarian government to make that happen, so be it. Authoritarian
So-
does not mean communism
All right.
necessarily.
So
No,
your
but this is
problem
so
with
elementary.
wait. Your problem with communism then isn't the fact that it's anti-American and that it's anti-free
Oh,
speech
sure, I'm
and
against it
anti.
for that.
No, you're not, because you just said
Yes,
as long
I
as
am.
it's about
What, are you gonna
race.
tell me what I'm for?
Because you just
You're
said
gonna tell me
hold
what
on,
I'm
Mark. You just said the only difference between communism and National Socialism is race. So you support
Primarily,
everything
yeah, there may be
else.
some other differences, but yeah.
Okay, so you
Okay,
support
go
everything
on.
else in communism except for the race mixing part, which isn't even part of communism, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it is. Definitely. Read their
It's not.
doctrines.
Look up-
Isaac
okay,
Cohen,
maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'll
American
give you that.
communist.
I'll give you
Okay,
that.
let me speak.
Yeah,
Isaac
maybe it is.
Cohen, American communist, said in I think it was 1920 or 25, 28, in the 20s, that we, the communists, his words, he was higher up in the Communist Party, we will use race to destroy the American capitalist society. We will instill a guilt in the white man. We will still instill artificial pride in the black because they're good athletes and entertainers. Now, that's not word
But that's
for
not
word.
that's not what communism
But you can
is.
look up Israel Cohen and his quote. The communists have been using the Negroes as pawns to destroy America since the 60s,
Okay.
even further back than that. Paul
Okay.
Robeson, who you probably never heard of, he was a communist from the 40s, I think.
Okay, Mark,
Um,
let me
the guy
explain
that
this.
helped organize civil rights
Oh
march
my God,
was
he's gonna
Bayard
go off on his
Rustin.
freaking tangents.
Bayard Rustin. Look
Read
him
a
up,
book
genius.
from George
He was a communist.
McGillicuddy. Enough, Mark.
What?
Let me respond now. You made your point.
All right, go ahead.
Can I respond?
Go ahead and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're explaining isn't a fundamental tenet of communism. What you're explaining is how they brought in communism in America. Just like Hitler used the white race to bring in communism in Germany.
He wasn't
Communism-
a communist, you fool.
Quiet,
yeah,
quiet,
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
quiet,
a fool.
Tommy,
Okay,
quiet.
he's finished.
No,
If he
but
calls
just
Hitler a
let him
communist,
finish. Yeah,
he's a dope.
let him call it communism instead of National
He's a
Socialism.
fool, though.
Yeah.
He's misleading your
It's
audience.
We get it.
Communism,
No, the audience will not be misled because the audience thinks for themselves. I say
Well,
about
Okay,
Hitler
yeah.
them
So
like-
let us
more
both put our
communist
arguments out
than
and
any
let the
other world
audience.
So
decide.
anyway,
I'm
so
fine with that.
So you're saying finish your point and then we'll wrap up.
Two main tenets of communism is that the means of production and private property is owned by the government, not by the people like that run the company. The second part is redistribution of wealth, right? With me so far. Hitler bringing in National Socialism did both of those things. The only difference is he tried to claim he was anti-communist, but he was
He didn't
also
claim it. He proved it.
No, he was
proved it.
he was a communist. He was just an
That's a
authoritarian
lie. That's a
communist that
bald-faced
claimed
lie.
that he was anti-communist.
Bald-faced lie.
The whole reason why he made National Socialism was a way to redefine socialism. It wasn't
the reason he used that
anti-socialism,
term-
anti-communism.
Listen,
It was
now
pro.
I can't explain it. He's going to talk me.
Go
here.
ahead. I
He used the
was
term
done.
National Socialism because at that time in Europe, everyone was a socialist, and Hitler had to use that term to get attention. One last time, Hitler killed more communists
All right.
than any other world leader. Under the
Communists kill
swastika,
communists.
More communists were brought to justice than any other flag or symbol, including the American flag. Hitler killed more communists.
Your argument that Hitler killed communists. Your argument that Hitler killed communists, so he's not a communist, doesn't make any sense because communists kill communists all the time. Their entire government kills their own people.
I gotta move on, guys. I appreciate.
I know that you have a low IQ.
Communism is responsible for over 100 million deaths in the world.
The greatest anti-communist. He didn't talk about it. He killed them.
No, I gotta run, Mark. I gotta run. We already heard you talking about killing enough. Take care.
All right,
Thank
Commie.
you, Hake. God
All
bless.
right.
Have a good weekend.
You as well.
All right, Commie.
Oh, dang. Harsh. Interesting. The Fallen State is coming up next, guys. They're gonna be live in less than 30 minutes, I think. Real quick, I gotta read at least one or several more supers before I get back to the calls. Cesar 3 Coffee, sup? Hey, let me ask the Don something. Do you think white people who don't think something ever existed all because they never heard of it or learned about it in school are people with lower IQs, or are they simply talking with emotions? Cesar, I don't know if you know what he's referring to. I happen to.
I'm not sure.
So say the Kingdom of Kush. I never learned about it in high school, nor did another of my callers. So therefore, it was a fairy tale, according to one of my callers. Is that a high IQ or low? Is that a sign of a lower IQ take?
I guess. I mean, I don't know even what IQ is. But
Yeah.
if we're talking about just intelligence, I think it is low intelligence to go like, well, I don't know if something exists, so I'm going to just deny it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's an emotional take. True.
Right. It's because it might also like kind of hurt your worldview. So it's easier to you to just like accept that, oh, this doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, Mark might go, sorry to bring him up again, but his whole thing is that there's no black societies ever built.
That's what we're talking about, actually.
Yeah.
The Kingdom of Kush
was
a yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but my point was that I've heard of the Kush civilization before. I just didn't know like how successful it was, but I assume that's kind of
how
the
black
point
it was.
Or how black or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when people ask that question, is it like we're measuring it in success or the fact that it's existed? Because if you're saying that,
right,
you get what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Because they existed, but they these societies got dominated by the white culture, which is a point that our fellow caller CJ had brought up. Speaking of CJ and others, Neo on pill.net gifted the shades. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you, Neo, for the raid. Evil is still real on Rumble. Love the Dawn. Call Mark a R word, Etard Ray. One more time, please, says Evil is still real. Can we get one more I don't from Mark? Mark is a woman, says Evil is still real. Wow, I always have supported the Dawn, and he also thinks Mark is a Mark Tard, says Evil is still real. Going after Mark. What a mess.
The problem is the reason why it was so chaotic was because like he'll make a point and I'm like, okay, let me counterpoint that now, but then he'll go on to 5 other points before you can even cut him off. And it's like, that's not how you have a conversation. You're just preaching to me. Like you're trying to lecture me.
And Manuel with 5 coffees says with a laughing sideways face with tears coming out, Dawn calling the kettle black, constantly interrupting and spurging out, definitely raised by a white woman, says Manuel with 5 coffees. Shots fired.
No, I was a man getting another man to calm down. Sorry, you're not used to seeing that.
Dang. Shots fired back at Manuel. Back at you, Manuel, says Crishaun the Don. It's a war going on here on the Hake Report. Thank you guys for for holding. I gotta get to Jeff in Louisiana, who's been on hold forever. Jeff, you're live with Crishaun the Don. Speak slowly for us so we can understand you, man. Go ahead.
Okay, man. I called in the other day when CJ was talking to you.
Yes, CJ. Yep.
And I called in, and it hung up on me. But I was calling to tell you that Mark was only calling, whining about how much time CJ got.
Mark was calling in whining about how much time that CJ got.
Yeah, compared to him.
Compared to him. I hung up on you?
No, I got hung up on when I was put on hold and got hung up on.
Oh, okay.
I think I can explain
But
that.
what the first thing Mark did, Mark was just calling right after me. What did he do? Well, he gave CJ 25 minutes.
That's right. He did get 25 minutes just like CJ got 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's the first thing he said. Dude, I called in about something else after listening to Dave. It's like all he does is Mark sends you books and everything else, right?
Yep, he sent me a couple of books for me to read one day, hopefully, if I get the wild hair.
Okay, well, you have his address. Send him I'm sorry to say it, but send him a fucking pacifier.
Whoa.
So all he does is call him whining and complaining.
Oh.
Chrishaun gets you more views than Mark does.
Oh, you think so? Dang. I don't know.
Honestly, I think Mark is pretty entertaining.
Mark and Chrishaun both bring in quite a bit of a stir, but you raise an interesting point, man. It's not good hearing a man complain and whine at all. Or be angry.
The thing about
because like complain and just he just try to complain. That's all he does. He does nothing else but try to complain about everybody.
That's what I try to reason with him on, actually, Jeff in Louisiana, is that maybe I shouldn't even bother, but I have tried to warn Mark that he's not too different from the people that he's hating because he's hating them.
Like you're calling Crishaun a half-breed. What does that do?
It's just an expression of disdain, and it pushes Chrishaun, who would be a white ally, even though he doesn't consider himself that. It pushes his friend away because Chrishaun is a friend and a fellow Christian brother.
Chrishaun is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
He was a mayor every time on his show. He has pretty much the same views. So what's the problem with Chrishaun?
Well,
Does he not like black Trump supporters?
It's because Chrishaun is saying. Well, Chrishaun said that Chrishaun isn't as pro-white as Mark would like, and he's.
It's because it's because Chrishaun has an opinion against him on his views on other people.
Yeah, on authoritarianism and stuff.
Well, that's where I just wanted to jump in, is that I wasn't calling him a communist to be like, edgy or shocking or like even an ad hominem or anything like that. I was saying, like, that's why last time we talked and he pushed for an authoritarian national socialism regime in America. I was like, okay, so you've exposed yourself as an actual communist. Like, that's what I think is funny, is when people go around calling other people commies, it's like, you actually are a communist.
Yeah, you know what? I've kind of realized that a lot of times communism or communists, because I call people communists a lot, and I have called myself sometimes like part communist, and not that that's a good thing, or I don't even know if it's a bad thing, but in some way, a lot of the problems with communism or a lot of the communist traits are evil human nature, deception. Lie, accusing others of what you do. That's what women and girly men do. Females, I mean, not decent women, obviously.
Okay.
But just naturally, women are more communal.
Yeah, they're more communists.
But
yeah, go ahead.
Like, I apologize for the show, but
yeah, you said the F word on my show, and you said, "Oh, I'm sorry for saying this," and then you said it.
Well, I apologize in advance.
Okay.
Mark isn't the fact that he's communist. Mark's a dumbass.
Whoa.
Jeez, another one.
And the reason I say that is because he calls and he grudges to everybody, but he supports Hitler. His last statement, Chrishaun, was supporting Hitler.
Yeah, that's anger.
How do you support Hitler and say you're it's a white race? I mean. He makes no sense.
It's like what we talked about earlier. It's brainwashing. He's brainwashed. Because then when you ask him, okay, what's communism? He can't explain it. When you ask him, what does Hitler believe? He can't tell you what Hitler believed. He didn't know that Hitler didn't believe in free market capitalism. And it's like, that's the reason why we don't like communists. It's anti-American.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say. Go ahead.
I did call on the show to respond to something you said earlier today when you first started talking. And I don't remember the exact word, but I used brainwash, you just used it. But you was talking about the Bible and being how people are raised and pretty much brainwashed.
Yep.
It's not just the Bible, it's everything in life. You think of the government, how they tell us all these laws and everything. And everything changes every day. Yesterday, as I say this, today is about to say that.
Make sure you speak kind of slowly so we can understand.
Having a hard time.
I said it applies to everything.
Brainwashing does?
Yes. It's like yesterday you said this is against the law, today it's bad. And every day it changes.
What did you say just now? Something against the law, and today it's bad? Yesterday it's...
I'm sorry. Let me slow down. It's like yesterday you say going 55 was bad.
55 miles an hour. Okay.
And today you say, 55 is good.
Yeah.
So they're brainwashed every day to program us to live in their ideal society.
They are. They're definitely trying to brainwash us big time.
Yes, so it's not just the Bible; it's everything.
That's true.
They're programming us every day with a new nugget here, a new nugget there, and some more changes.
Yeah, that's so true, man. What you're talking about, it sort of reminds me of Gavin Newsom talking about, we believe in the Constitution and the co-equal separation of powers. And he's only using that against Trump. And those of us who are for the Constitution and intellectual, we might fall for that. And I don't know whether Trump was technically right or wrong for bringing in the National Guard into to help save California from these rioters, but Gavin Newsom is using it to be against America, whereas Trump is breaking the law for America. But many times we're so brainwashed in what's technically right that we'll fall for different things by that brainwashing and we're consulting with your mind and trying to argue with the devil.
Well, yeah, legally he is allowed to bring the National Guard in. I think it was
only because of precedent that others have done it and gotten away with it with the civil rights stuff and rebellion?
Well, they didn't really get away with it. Can we use water hoses and German shepherds anymore?
I hope so. I would love to see that.
Could.
Yeah.
I'd say also the fact that like we're talking about people who are not citizens burning the American flag and waving the flag of another country. You can literally just say that's a declaration of war, if you ask me.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an emergency power at that point, perhaps. But yeah, but anyway, my point was they are brainwashing by constantly lying and mixing in truth with lies, pretending like they're for the Constitution and Trump is not. Give me a break. These people are never. They don't have any respect for the founders. They thought the founders were white racists who supported slavery and that slavery was the worst thing ever. And none of this stuff is reality. They're just hating white people, like Marx says.
Just a few years ago, they were in favor of tearing down statues of our forefathers.
That's right.
Like, and now they're pretending they're these like patriotic American. It's such like a gaslight. It's hilarious. I guess it makes sense to people who don't pay attention. Like people that see it, they'll go, "Oh, he sounds like a patriotic guy."
I saw this meme, and I don't have it on my computer, but perhaps I can show it on my phone. It has, oh Lord. It has, like a boomer, I'm going to show it. Oh, come on. So this meme, I'll just describe it. It has a angry Trump supporter in a red truck with Trump bumper stickers and Trump flags and a red purportedly MAGA hat, white man, saying, "Stop waving the Mexican flag." And it has a Mexican-looking upstanding man in a T-shirt and jeans with a hat with a Mexican flag. But on the man's truck, he has the beautiful American rebel flag on it right there. You see that?
Oh, okay.
And so, like, that's an American flag, but this meme is trying to mock waving Trump supporters as if Trump supporters wave Trump supporters wave the traitor flag. They're pretending that the Confederates were traitors.
Well, you know the reason Trump did what he did in California is because in 2020, the summer of love, he was afraid to do anything because of they won because of elections coming up.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And he wanted to respect states' rights and these people.
Yeah, all that crap.
Yeah.
And now he's coming in ahead of time to stop it before it gets started up like that. But you know what's funny is in California, you got a white governor who was going against Trump over doing this. But in New York, you got a black mayor who's supporting Trump in doing this. So he needs to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, black Democrat, right? The Eric Adams.
Eric Adams.
That's right. He's not for these illegals wreaking havoc in his country.
The last year, you know, like, well, you know, when he gets this crap out of our city, they're taking over.
I agree with you. I think it's partially that, and then I think it's also that Trump just doesn't want to make that same mistake again. Because honestly, for most of his like biggest supporters, like myself, that's my biggest criticism of him is how he handled the BLM protests. He let it go on for too long. He didn't do anything about it. He left it to the states. We knew they weren't going to do anything about it. So it's like I think it's like kind of avoiding another Kyle Rittenhouse situation because arguably that's why that happened. Is because the government didn't do anything about it. So I think he's just avoiding all that again. That's why he sent them in so quickly this time.
And the biggest thing is Trump's not worried about running for re-election. So this time he's going to make his mark. He's going to make his stamp on it. Trump wants to be remembered as one of the greatest presidents ever. It's just his ego. He wants to be remembered as one of the. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore, to put it honestly. So he wants to be remembered for what he did.
You think so, huh?
And now he knows there's not a relation there. Next term. Then once he's done his 4 years, he's done. So he wants to make his mark and say, "I did this for America."
Yeah.
I'm actually with you.
I think Trump really does care about the country. It might be part ego that motivates him. I don't know. But
it is. He does care about the country. I'm saying that, but it's part ego. But
interesting.
We all have a little bit of ego in us, right?
I'm showing this meme. This was posted by who's that guy? Whatever. He's some liberal atheist guy who's dating Crystal Ball, an older woman, and he posted this on X. And he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before. But anyway, it's the white man saying, "Stop waving the Mexican flag," all angry with his racist fangs, with the rebel flag, pretending that the rebel flag is not pro-America. The rebel flag is an American flag. If you're against the rebel flag, you're basically against your Southern American brothers. We fought a war to keep them in one nation with us. So let them wave their rebel flag. That's unity.
They're still Americans.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretending like, the hypocrisy of the rebel flag being mad at the Mexican flag.
Here's the other part that makes me sick about this meme. They make the Mexican guy look like this little timid. I'm just here to wear in my collared shirt and my baseball cap. And then you see the real picture of the guy who they're portraying. He has the, no shirt on, standing on top of a burning car with stomach tattoos.
That's so true, man. Let's see.
It's such propaganda.
Yeah.
That's
a good
propaganda.
point. Yeah, the White House. I don't have. Oh, do I have it? I have Robert E. Lee on the James Anton Hake feed. This might have been. Is it this one? But anyway, they're not peaceful.
Use more calls.
Say again.
I'll let you go, man. She gets some more calls.
All right, thank you, Jeff in Louisiana. Take care, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, great call. Wow, you know what? Actually, Crishaun the Don, I'm running low on minutes. I have like 3 minutes. So tell the people how to find you, okay? And stuff like that.
You can follow me on X at Crishaun the Don. You can follow my show on Rumble. That's rumble.com/user, I think, /user/The Misfit Nation. Just type in The Misfit Nation on Rumble. You'll find us somewhere. Follow all the pages because we'll go live on one of them. Also, Podbean, misfitnation.podbean.com. Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the audio version. And also, the Misfit Nation podcast will be doing our last show on YouTube. Also, shout out to Jake Hudson. He's been putting me on his channel a lot. Also, he sends his love, Hake.
Right on, man.
Huge
Shout
fan.
out to Jake.
Shout outs to Jake. Shout outs to my co-host Skrill.
Skrill
you
Kill.
Can follow him on Skrill. Skrill Kill.
I started to play your podcast by accident.
Oh, yeah.
Portnoy, the most recent with about Dave Portnoy, the Jewish guy who was screaming and mad.
Yes.
Shout out.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. Anything you need, brother, just reach out.
Well, right on, man. Crishaun the Don of the Misfit Nation. Let me just shout out the callers who wanted to get in. Elijah in California wanted to talk about the Israeli-Iran war. Elijah, actually, you're live for 1 minute. I got to get you in there. Go.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to get on, but...
Go ahead.
Yeah, Crishaun the Don, he was saying that Hitler was communist, but I never had heard that. Have you heard of Dennis Prager? You probably have, right?
Yeah, I've heard of Prager.
Turning
point.
He
said that all the isms were Jewish-led, so that's basically what happened with National Socialism. It was a response to Jewish-led Bolshevism and also communism that destroyed Russia, and so that's what it was a response to that, and also by response to Jewish perversion and degeneracy. because actually the first transgender Jew surgeries were done by a German Jew named Magnus Hirschfeld. You can find that.
20 seconds.
The books that the Germans were burning were actually homosexual pornography that was pushed by also the Jews. And now you can see that happening in America. And they're going to blame the collapse on anti-Semitism, but it's always a response to their behavior. So, yeah, I guess we'll enjoy the collapse together. See you later, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
man.
And thank you to Anthony, SoCal. I want to talk about Israel and Christian religion. Josh in Georgia, LA riots, and Alan in Michigan. I'll have to get you guys next time. Take care, guys. Peace.